In Toronto, a fatal attack on a 59-year-old man, allegedly by 8 teenage girls, is sending shockwaves through the city and beyond. The CBC's Megan Fitzpatrick has the latest from Toronto Police Headquarters.
Well, police say this started unfolding at some point from 10 p.m. onwards, and that there may have been a couple of altercations and incidents involving this group of girls. There was this stabbing that happened right at the intersection of York and University. For anyone that's ever gone through Union Station in downtown Toronto, that's around where it happened. The stabbing happening just after midnight, police say. A 59-year-old man was the victim of stab wounds. He was brought to hospital and died of his injuries. Police are saying the suspects, as you mentioned, all 8 teenage girls, 3 of them aged 13, 3 of them aged 14, 2 of them aged 16. And police apprehended these suspects, they say, soon after the incident. They all made a brief court appearance on Sunday, and all 8 of them have been charged with second-degree murder. Now, in terms of what we know about the victim, police do know his identity, but they are not releasing his name publicly, Arthi. They say they are still notifying the man's next of kin. I just spoke with the detective working on the case. He says the victim has elderly parents. They don't want them to find out about the death of their son through the media, and they are attempting to contact those family members still. But the Toronto police are making an appeal to the public for their help with this case, saying they believe there may have been interactions with other victims, possibly other people in Toronto in the area that evening with the group of girls. So they're asking people to come forward if they think they may have seen them or interacted with these suspects. Here's more from the detective.
If they had any contact with these 8 individuals themselves, perhaps they were victimized or they observed behavior that caused them some concern, we would really like to hear from them, because we're really trying to track the whereabouts of these 8 individuals when we first know that they were there, which is at 10:30 around Saturday, but we may be mistaken. They may have been down there earlier.
He also said they believe perhaps that the girls met through social media, and they are following that as a possibility, Arthi, because they don't believe there are any other sort of connections between the girls. They say that these suspects lived in different parts of the city, so they didn't have any other known connections at this point, the detective is saying. So they are pursuing the theory that these girls may have connected with each other through social media, but that is all part of the investigation. Detectives saying yesterday as well that they did seize a number of weapons from these suspects. Again, these 8 accused teenage girls remain in custody, and another court hearing is scheduled for next week.
Now, Megan, this has shocked many people in the city. What sort of reactions are you hearing?
Yeah, it certainly is. And we have heard reaction from Toronto's Mayor, John Tory, who put out a statement yesterday saying he's deeply disturbed by this story, also expressing his condolences to the victim. Police, by the way, saying that the individual who was killed recently had started using Toronto's shelter system. They believe he was a resident of Toronto, but just this past fall had started staying in some of the city's shelters. We are hearing reaction from people who work in shelters and for organizations that help people experiencing homelessness. Here's what the director of the Fred Victor Center told CBC.
Doesn't often happen in our country, and it's something that it becomes shocking. Sadly, assault and violence against homeless people is a daily occurrence, but that level of violence is something new and concerning.
And Arthi, the detective I just spoke to, saying this should shock people, that this is a shocking and surprising story. Not surprising that a lot of people in Toronto are talking about this today.
That is the CBC's Megan Fitzpatrick in Toronto.